Good afternoon, NCAS staff. My name is Dawon Baker. I'm interested in being a moderator for the Invisible Women in Sport panel during UCF Diversity Week. So, with my passion of diversity and inclusion really started to grow when I was an undergraduate student. Graduated from the University of Missouri in May of 2015, and I was there when the racial injustice and the racial climate on campus was really starting to break our campus apart as far as faculty, staff, and student goes. And I saw firsthand how some people started to act differently once things started coming out. And I saw it firsthand in the student athletes as well. I was a track and field student athlete, and I saw how after the fact that all this came out and the football team took a stand, how campus was really turned on its head, for lack of better words. But it's something that I learned about, and it's something that I saw that diversity and inclusion can really be something that if you are doing what you say you're doing, then it can mean a world of change as far as the climate and how the culture is at your specific workplace, university, organization, team, whatever it is that you are currently in. And so that's what really started to spark my interest in it. In addition to doing undergraduate research, I did undergraduate research on black male athletic directors, and by looking at the data from Tides, I really saw that it wasn't the black male athletic directors who had the hardest time in getting to positions of power. It was minority women, and not just black women, whether it's Latino women, Asian Pacific Islander, Asian women, whatever it is, that minority women had very difficult times and had very, very extremely low numbers in leadership positions. And that's something that, I'm a minority male, I'm a black male, but I know that they're a double minority in being a woman and a woman of color. So I know that the things that they have to go through, or the things that they have to necessarily do, makes it much more difficult for them to get into positions of power. So, I took it upon myself to really learn more about it, and I have specifically black women who I consider mentors and who I consider really helping me get into my career path. And for me to not become invested in a panel like this and to the information that's going to be shared, whether it's a moderator or not, for me to not get invested will be being a disservice to them, because I appreciate everything they do, and I feel like that I can make a difference. I feel like that just me taking a step to learn more about it is sufficient, but I can do more. And so this is my way of doing more, of getting involved with this panel. So as far as questions that I would propose to the panel, one actually came from one of the athletic directors that I interviewed during my undergraduate research. And he told me that he's like, Dwayne, I was hiring for a position for a coach, and I reached out to my network, and I told women of color that I wanted them to apply. And he said he told several individuals, but he only received 2 applications. And so my question is, how, as an administrator, how do you, as a person in power, carry out that entire process to make sure that the people that you're reaching out to are still applying and are actually making it to the step where they can become an employable candidate? Because you can say that you want this type of candidate, and you can reach out all you want, but are there specific programs in place? Are there specific tactics that you can use to make sure that they are fully carrying out that process where they can actually get into the organization? So that's my first question. My second question is, how do you prevent burnout? Because as I mentioned earlier, the numbers are extremely low for women of color in the sport industry, and across the industry is very stretched thin. So if you're in a position where as a woman of color in the sport industry, you may have to do multiple things. You may have to take up for yourself and take up for an entire group of people, because you're extremely underrepresented. So at a point that becomes very stressful, it becomes very time consuming, and sometimes it can break people, and I understand that. So my second question is, how do you prevent burnout, especially in a competitive industry such as the sport industry? How do you prevent burnout in women of color who are coming into this industry and are so spread thin, and making sure that they are getting the attention, detail, and really the time and effort that they need to succeed in this industry? So those are my 2 questions. That's why I'm interested in the panel. I love to have the opportunity to become a moderator, but I love to have any opportunity to be associated with the panel as a whole. I hope to hear from you soon, and thank you for the opportunity, and have a great day.